Welcome to week 1 of penalty enforcement. Let's get started. Before we begin, let's make sure we understand that this class is not a substitution for learning your fouls, their signals, and the yardage for each one. You just have to open the rule book, go to the back, memorize the chart, memorize the signals. Some of them will happen a lot, some of them very seldom, but you have to know them all. For each class, I will highlight what part of the penalty enforcement cheat sheet we're going to talk about. Today, we have a lot to talk about: different foul types, loose ball running plays, and 3 of the basic spots. So to begin, how we categorize the action happening when a foul occurs will determine where our enforcement spot will be. We're going to use a couple different categorization methods to determine what was going on when that foul occurred. Use that to determine our basic spot or our enforcement spot, and then we'll be able to enforce the penalty correctly. The first set of categorizations we're going to talk about is either a live ball foul or a dead ball foul. A live ball foul is a foul which occurs during a down. A dead ball foul is a foul that occurs in the time interval after the down is ended and before the next snap or free kick. Pretty simple concept. But that's our first thing we need to determine is, was the foul during live ball or a dead ball? If it was a live ball, we have some further classification we can do. The first is, was the foul simultaneous with the snap? If the foul occurs simultaneously with the snap, we have a certain enforcement spot. Some examples of those kinds of fouls are illegal formation, illegal motion, and illegal shift. Another type of categorization is a loose ball play. A loose ball play is defined as any action during a legal kick, a legal forward pass, a backward pass, fumble, or a legal kick if it's behind the neutral zone prior to a change of possession, and any action leading up to those legal kicks, legal forward passes, fumbles, etc. And it's interesting to note there's only one loose ball play per down. Anything that is not covered by a loose ball play is therefore a running play. So we need to understand when the foul occurred and if there was a loose ball play action or a running play action happening when that foul occurred. The basic spot is the term we use for the spot of enforcement. Depending on the action that we just talked about, when the foul occurs, the basic spot may be the previous spot, the succeeding spot, the end of the run. We're going to talk about those 3 in this class, and then 3 more we'll talk about later on. So let's define some of these basic spots. Previous spot is where the ball was last snapped or free kicked. Pretty simple. Succeeding spot is where the ball would next be snapped or free kicked if a foul had not occurred. Where would we be snapping the ball next? End of the run is where the ball becomes dead in the runner's possession, or where the runner loses possession if his run is followed by a fumble. These are the 2 instances that categorize an end of the run. This is why we beanbag the end of a fumble beyond the line of scrimmage, because it is a potential spot of enforcement. So we need to know where that runner lost possession. So let's tie these all together. Remember, the basic spot is our spot of enforcement. The basic spot is the previous spot for a foul which occurs simultaneously with the snap, or a foul which occurs during a loose ball play. So as we categorize the action going on when the foul occurs, if that categorization says the foul occurred simultaneously with the snap or during a loose ball play, we will enforce from the previous spot. Basic spot is the succeeding spot for a dead ball foul. Any dead ball fouls we have are enforced from the succeeding spot. And the basic spot is the spot where the run ends, or the end of the run, for a foul which occurs during a running play. So these are the 3 basic spots we're going to talk about in this class. And you need to use that thought process in order to determine and get the enforcement right. Was the foul a live ball or dead ball foul? If it was live, what was happening when the foul occurred? Was the foul simultaneously with the snap? Was it during a loose ball play, or was the foul during a running play? Use this thought logic and you'll get the basic spot right. So let's look at some plays. Play number 1. Line of scrimmage is the 17-yard line. We got a basic run up the middle to the 3-yard line. And the offense had 5 in the backfield at the snap, so we have a foul that occurred. So let's go through our thought process as we try to determine our basic spot. First question to ask, was this a live ball foul or dead ball foul? Go ahead and shout out the answer as you're watching this video and see if you get them right. This was a live ball foul. So what was happening, or what type of play was going on when the foul occurred? Remember our choices? Simultaneous with the snap, loose ball play, running play. When did the foul occur in this play? This was a simultaneous with the snap foul. This would be an illegal formation foul, which occurs simultaneously with the snap. So the basic spot would be the previous spot. Remember what we said. The basic spot for a foul occurred simultaneously with the snap is the previous spot. And again, those are typically illegal formation, illegal motion, could be some substitution problems, things like that. Play number 2. Again, we're starting at the 17-yard line. Looks like it's 3rd and 7 maybe. Again, we got a dive up the middle to the 3. We got a foul by the offense at the 2-yard line during the run. Maybe we had a receiver downfield holding. Again, first question, live ball or dead ball? So the live ball foul. When did the foul occur? What type of play was happening when that foul occurred? What was the action? This is during a running play. None of our criteria for a loose ball play was met. No pass, no kick, no fumble behind the line of scrimmage. Therefore, this is a running play. And the basic spot for a running play is the end of the run. Remember, the end of the run is either where the runner is down or where he loses possession. Play number 3. Starting at the 17-yard line again. This time the quarterback scrambles and runs out of bounds at the 12-yard line. And the defense hits the quarterback late out of bounds. So we have a personal foul. First question, is this a live ball foul or dead ball foul? This is a dead ball foul. Quarterback had crossed the out of bounds line. He had been out of bounds and then was hit. So the play was over when he went out of bounds. So this is a dead ball foul. The basic spot for a dead ball foul is the succeeding spot. So we're going to enforce this penalty from where the ball will next be snapped, which is the 12-yard line. Remember, on dead ball fouls, the play counts. So in this case, if this was a 4th down, this would be an interesting situation because the quarterback did not make the line to gain. So essentially, we would be turning the ball over on downs, be first down for the defense, then we would enforce the penalty. Play number 4. This time we're starting at the 11-yard line. Looks like it's 3rd and 6 at the 11. Quarterback drops back to pass. He's tackled at the 18-yard line. During the tackle, the defense grabs the quarterback by the face mask. So we have a face mask penalty. First question to ask, is this a live ball or dead ball foul? It is a live ball foul. When did the foul occur? What type of play was occurring when this foul happened? It's a running play. No fumble, no pass, no punt. What's the basic spot for when a foul occurs during a running play? The end of the run. So the tackle happened at the 18, so we're going to enforce this face mask from the 18-yard line. And in this case, the end of the run is behind the line of scrimmage, which is perfectly fine. Play number 5, starting at the 11 again. This time the quarterback drops back to pass. He's fumbled as he's hit at the 18. He is then dragged down by his face mask. So we have a face mask penalty. After that face mask, the quarterback's teammate picks up the fumble and he's immediately tackled there at the 18. So we had a hit, we had a face mask, the fumble happens. We then have a recovered fumble by the offense right there at the same spot. So let's go through our questions. Live ball or dead ball foul? Live ball foul, right? Nothing interesting other than action during a live ball. When did the foul occur? What type of play was happening when the foul occurred? This time it was a loose ball play. We had a fumble behind the line of scrimmage. So what's the basic spot for a loose ball play? That would be the previous spot. So notice the subtle difference here between this play and the last play. It was almost the same. We have a face mask foul at the tackle. But that fumble that was in there behind the line of scrimmage caused the type of play to move from a running play to a loose ball play. Therefore, the enforcement spot was changed from the end of the run to the previous spot, which in this case, is a good chunk of yardage, 9 yards it looks like, or 7 yards. So remember, you have to get the type of play right, and then just remember what the basic spot is for that type of play, and that will give you where we are enforcing the foul. Play number 6, back to the 17-yard line. Quarterback throws an apparent touchdown pass, but we had a foul by the offense at the line of scrimmage while the ball was in the air. Maybe we had a holding foul right at the line of scrimmage. Let's go through our questions. Live or dead? Live ball foul. When did the foul occur? What kind of play was happening? Got a loose ball play, right? We had a forward pass. The hold was happening, or the foul was happening leading up to that forward pass. So it was action leading up to the pass, which is the definition of a loose ball play. And the basic spot for a loose ball play is the previous spot. Remember our loose ball play definition? We've got punts, passes, or fumbles behind the line of scrimmage before a change of possession, and all the action leading up to that makes it a loose ball play. And finally, play number 7. We're back to the 17-yard line again. Quarterback throws a pass to the receiver at the 5-yard line, who's down immediately. Got a foul by the defense at the 20-yard line before the pass was thrown. So maybe the defensive lineman grabbed a face mask during his pass rush. Go through our questions. Live or dead? Again, basic live ball foul. When did the foul occur? During a loose ball play, right? We had a foul by the defense during the pass rush before the pass was thrown. So that's a definition of a loose ball play. So what is the basic spot of a loose ball play? The previous spot. But keep this in mind. In this case, the offense may decline this penalty. As a matter of fact, in this case, they would, right? I had a face mask from the previous spot. We would go half the distance from the 17, which would be to the 8.5-yard line. In this case, the pass was caught and down at the 5-yard line. So in this case, the better choice by the offense is declining that penalty and get a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. So you have to be aware that even though we get the penalty enforcement right, we still have to give those choices to the captain, and in some cases, declining the penalty may be to their advantage. Okay, thank you for listening. Next week, we will talk about the all but one principle exception to the basic spot.